So what I want to discuss today is landscape architecture, the importance of landscape architecture early on in the design build process. My last project we did in Northwest Arkansas, we did the opposite. We went to Lowe's and we bought a ton of plants and shrubs and trees because they were on clearance, and then we figured out where they would go. And although that worked, it wasn't the best outcome for the property. It wasn't a cohesive plan. It was more ad hoc. And although it was better than a lot of projects, it wasn't as good as it could have been. And I did not want to make that same mistake twice. And so on this project, when we were working with the architect, we asked him, do you know of a good landscape architect? And as a matter of fact, he did. And so we engaged a landscape architect. We told him our vision. We told him what was important to us. And he developed a master plan, which I actually love. I think it's awesome. I think it's amazing, and it totally nailed what we were wanting to do. What we wanted to prioritize was privacy. We wanted to frame views from the house and from the shop space. And we wanted to have a low maintenance landscape. We wanted trees and plants and grasses and flowers that are indigenous to our location. We didn't want to bring in plants that would struggle to live here, or grasses that would not thrive in this environment. And so that was his mandate, and that's what he came up with. And I think he did a great job. So my lesson that I've learned is it's money well spent and ultimately far cheaper to have a good game plan from the beginning, instead of trying to, undo mistakes made out of I don't know, I would say lack of foresight, or trying to save a buck, or whatever it is. Ultimately it's going to cost you more in the long run. So if you're in a design build project, you're early on in the process, I would say now is the time to talk to a landscape architect, develop a plan. It might end up moving some things around. There might be some auxiliary buildings or a driveway approach, or how you approach the house that would change based on the advice of the landscape architect. And these are the times to make those adjustments, not after you're underway. Another part of this, or the last part of this, is the plan that the landscape architect has drawn up for us is just that. It's a plan. It's a master plan. We don't need to execute it all on day one. We can execute it in phases as budget allows, as time allows, but we have a roadmap. And now we know where we're going. And so we can work through each phase of it, and in the end have a cohesive property that had a lot more forethought into it, and will end up being a far better end result.